there are ugly truths about being a fragrance reviewer that I do not see people talk about. I wanted to come on here and spill a little bit of tea on the ugly truths of being a fragrance reviewer, fragrance enthusiast, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to give you the ugly truths of being a fragrance reviewer. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know you're probably wondering, Rhonda, why are you all up so close in front of the camera? Well, the reason I am so close, honey, is that I want to get back reacquainted. I know that it has been a while since I uploaded a video. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm not going to really do too much explaining, but honey, I took a break and I'm back. And the first thing is struggling with content. That is a big struggle for a lot of content creators. I am more of like an introvert when I'm struggling with like coming up with an idea, titles, thumbnails, tags. It has to be to a certain caliber so your video will even get pushed. You have to actually plan this out, make sure that, you know, the keywords are right and all that stuff. It's so much. It's more than just jumping in front of the camera and saying, welcome back to my channel. It's so much more than that. I stripped down to bare. Oh, I am so sorry, y'all. Let me back up a little bit. Let me back up. So that is something that I really struggle with coming up with creative, fresh content. There are certain content ideas that is very popular, you know, in the fragrance community. Top 10 list, only need 5, best of, worst of, perfume haul. Like those are repetitive video ideas, which, hey, if they work, they work. And I've seen them actually work for quite a few influencers or content creators. So that is struggling with content. The next thing that is a ugly truth as being a content creator, fragrance reviewer, is the impulsive spending. I had to get that spending under control because it was just totally out of whack. Acquiring fragrances just to review, just trying to build a collection to actually show, impulsively buying things just to have things to talk about. It literally put me in a place where I was like, I can't buy anything else. I mean, literally, I couldn't buy anything else. This was actually a business for me, but I still had to get my spending under control. That caused me to take a step back. And I do see this happening in the community where there is a lot of impulsive spending. There is $1,000 perfume haul, $1,500 perfume haul. I did it, I know. So when I see those massive hauls, it just reminded me of what I was going through at the time. So I had to get a handle on that. So that is the truth about a reviewer. When you're seeing these hauls and things like that, getting into being a reviewer requires you to spend money, especially when you're starting. And it's money that, you know, at the time, I really didn't have like that. I just went out on a limb and I started purchasing, but I do see these hauls a lot, and I know that majority of people are spending money, and not unless you're one of the top reviewers and a lot of things are sent to you. But then when things are sent to you, you know, the video kind of has to sway a certain way, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm going to get into that is another topic that I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to touch on the actual impulsive spending, and how could I forget blind buying? That's an impulsive spend that you don't even know if you're even going to like the fragrance. You're going to talk about it, but sometimes that fragrance that you spent that money on in the video you create does not equal out for the work that you did. We are back again, you guys, with another video. Yes, we are on a roll. We are going to get these videos popping, honey. So I have another fragrance that I want to share with you guys today, and this one is from the House of Vince Camuto. And this one is from the Vince Camuto line, which I do have almost the whole line except for one. This one is called Floreal from Vince Camuto. I was actually like in the negative on some of the fragrances as opposed to the content. So if a video, you know, did well for me, then it would actually be what I spent on a fragrance. So I'm like, okay, but I really didn't gain anything. But there has been times where I actually spent a certain amount of money on a fragrance and the video that I produced didn't come nowhere near to what I spent on the fragrance. So that is a truth that's going on in the community. This is a business, but at the same time, you know, you can be actually in the negative, especially when you are displaying products. That was something that I actually went through. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of why sometimes there's a hiatus, why sometimes there's like a lack of a haul or whatever the case may be. It's because, you know, spending that money, impulsively spending that money. So that leads me to the next truth of being a fragrance reviewer, which would be a sprayless collection. So now that you've actually purchased these fragrances, talked about them in a perfume haul, I will actually just store them in the dresser and just pull them out when I was going to talk about them again. That is what I consider a sprayless collection, where I purchased a fragrance, it's sitting there taking up real estate, and I'm not even wearing it. I would say maybe 10% of a collection is actually worn. It is helpful when reviewers actually give you their opinion on a fragrance, but where does that leave that reviewer with the fragrance? To turn it over or to give it away, but it was still money spent on that fragrance. I have actually started getting rid of a sprayless collection. I have listed a couple of fragrances on Mercari, and I'm getting ready to have roughly around 20 more fragrances that I'm going to actually list. So be sure to check out my website, because I am going to put them on the sale alerts page of my website. Link will be provided down below in the description box, because of having a sprayless collection. And I don't want to do that anymore. And they are fragrances that I have already talked about. So that is the recycling of the collection. I want to turn over my sprayless collection. I want to get away from that, but that is another truth about being a fragrance reviewer. So that leads me on to the next truth about a fragrance reviewer, and that would be sponsored content. I have only did a couple of sponsored videos. I was very, very picky because I want to have my own opinion. And sometimes when you do sponsored content, it cannot be a negative video. Of course, this is a business, but sponsored content, you know, sometimes need to lean a certain way. I'm glad to see that YouTube has actually listed that it's a sponsored video as soon as you click into the video. So even if it's kind of like hidden or anything like that, just for the fairity of it, you know, the sponsored content has to be listed. So that is something that I wanted to touch on, is the sponsored content. There are several brands that reach out to me wanting to do sponsored content. I've turned down so many because it doesn't align with how I really feel, and I don't want to jeopardize my brand, as well as I don't want to contaminate another brand. In my best interest to just say no thank you, okay, and just keep it like that, and not even ever mention what the product was or anything like that. So I'll just leave it at that. It is what it is. YouTube is a business first, so I do understand and see, you know, content creators doing sponsored content. Hey, this is a job. You know, this is a job for people, even though it is something that, you know, you want to do, but this is a business first. YouTube is a business first before it's anything else, you know. So that is the truth of being a fragrance reviewer regarding sponsored content. Now, for the most important truth, ugly truth, is burnout. And burnout is so real, you guys. It happens, and sometimes you need to take a break. Whenever I feel uneasy, I would definitely back off, and that is what I have done. So I am back, you guys. It was so nice to put this video together. I feel free. I just feel like I don't really have to make an impression. I am really, really happy in the space that I am in, and I am ready to spill more tea and create very good content for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.